We're now on Dcad lesson 11A. In this lesson, we'll be dealing with the foundation plan. So to start the foundation plan, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Layers, hitting the L key. And down the layers, I'm going to deal with active and named layers only. And then click OK. And what I want to do first is I need to call up the section drawing because it shows us what our footings look like, and that'll help us align things for the foundation plan. So the first thing I'm going to do is just click on, I'm going to zoom up a little bit and click on the outside wall line for our roof plan support, because that'll give us a good line to use for our foundation perimeter. So I'm going to just select that line by clicking near it, and I'm going to hit N to duplicate, and I'm just going to right click and snap to that handle that was just established. Now I'm going to go to the info box, and I'm going to move that selected outside perimeter line to layer 15, which is the foundation plan layer, and it's not highlighted at this point in time, but that's okay. So move the info box out of the way and hit Control R to redraw. It didn't actually steal that line, it just borrowed it. So now I'm going to go back to the layers and hit L for layers, and I'm going to make layer 15 the current active layer by double clicking in that area where I want to see the pencil. I'm going to also click to hide all. I don't need really anything else at this point in time except for the section drawing. So I'm going to scroll down here to layer 75, which is section A, and I'm going to activate that layer so I can see what it is, and I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to hit Control W so I can see both the outside perimeter of the foundation plan and the section drawing. The other thing I want to do, the other layer that I want to activate is the lines layer, which is layer 20. And so I'm going to hit L for layers, and I'm going to unlock that and click OK. And the reason is, I'm going to hit Control W. The reason is I want to be able to change this perimeter line for the foundation into a specific type and width of line for the foundation plan. So I'm going to select that, and now I'm going to zoom over here into the lines area, pull up the info box, and you can click on the Same As command, and I'm going to click on Foundation Plan New Edge. It's a fairly heavy line. Let's see, I think it's 0.06. Yes, it's 0.06 in line width. So it's just a little bit narrower than the wall lines, which are 0.08. So now I'm going to hit Control W again and just zoom back. And if I zoom up on this line, you can see that it has some line weight to it. Okay, Control W. And so now what I want to do is I want to use the section drawing to determine the inside line for my monolithic footings. This is going to be slab on grade with monolithic footings. So what I'm going to do here is zoom over to the section drawing, and I know that my footings are, I'm going to hit V for vector, and just right click that inside footing line and just gravity move by hitting comma, and look up along along here and find that I am, gravity move again, 1.333, which is basically 16 inches. Okay, so I know that my foundation, my footings are 16 inches in width. Control W. So now I'm going to select this outside perimeter line. I'm just going to click near it and select it, and I'm going to hit F2 for parallel by distance, and I'm going to hit Tab and just type in 16 inches, and I'm going to hit selected entities only because I just want to make sure that I only grab that. I'm going to click near that perimeter foundation line and just move in and click again. So now I want to select this interior footing line. So I'm clicking near it and selecting it, zooming back to the lines area, and pulling up my info box and using the Same As command in info box. And I'm going to go to Foundation Continuous Footing. and that's a large dashed line. I'm going to click on that, and that will change that inside line, Control W, to a dashed line, which indicates the inside edge of the footing line, which is actually buried under the concrete, so you can't really see it. So that basically completes our foundation plan, except for we need to dimension it. So I'm going to go to Layers, and a couple things I want to do. Text for the foundation plan is in layer 16, so I'm going to highlight that, make that current inactive layer. And I'm also going to click on text for the floor plan, which is in layer 2, because I want to steal the floor plan title. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, scroll up just a little bit, and I'm going to select this whole title here. I'm not catching the arrow. And I'm going to hit N to duplicate it. And it's currently in layer 2, but I'm going to move it into layer 16. So scroll down a little bit and click on 16. That puts it into layer 16. I'm going to now go to Layers, hit L for Layers. I'm going to hide the text for the floor plan. Now I can go ahead and hide the section drawing. I no longer need it. Click OK. And so I'm going to just click on this text for floor plan, and you can see that it's in layer 16, which is our text for our foundation plan. So now I'm going to draw a little V to locate my scale from the larger text. And so I set 3 points, right click on the bottom end of the, I'm going to do that again so you can see it and talk while I'm doing it. I'm going to right click at the bottom and end of where it says floor plan. Then I'm going to come down a little ways and just left click to set a point. Then I'm going to right click at the beginning bottom edge of scale. And then I'm hitting my scroll button to activate that command. And the reason is I want this distance between the larger text, the title text, and the scale text. So now I'm going to click on where it says floor plan, and I'm just going to select the floor part of it and hit caps lock and type foundation and hit enter. So you can see how it's overlapped the scale. So I'm just going to click somewhere in the drawing to unselect it. I'm going to select my V by clicking on that left portion, because that's going to align me with the end of the foundation plan text. I'm going to hold down Shift and select the scale text also. Now I'm going to hit M for move, and I'm just going to right click again at the end of the foundation plan text, and it snaps it to it. I can hit escape, and now I can select the V and hit delete, and it's gone. So now I have my title for the foundation plan along with the north arrow and all that stuff. So the next thing I want to do is I need to dimension the foundation plan. And what I'm going to do is give overall dimensions, but I'm also going to dimension the footing width. So dimension command is this Shift and the @ sign, and I'm going to actually, let me see what my text size is first. Okay, I'm at 0.35 and text angle 0. It should be at 90, but that doesn't really matter for. I'm just going to click somewhere and hit Control Z to delete that. So now I've set my text up for it. So now I'm going to dimension by hitting the Control or Shift @ actually Shift 2. And right click, and then right click and pull it up to where I want it, and then left click. Puts that first dimension in. I'm going to do the same thing on one side. And so I'm going to use the Shift @ key and left click to snap to it. Left click again to snap to it. Bring it out a little bit. Left click again, and let's zoom up on that so we can see what size of our foundation is. It's 22 by 24. So the other thing I need to do is I need to dimension the footings. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the dimension command again, hit Shift @ right click down here, right click here, and pull it down like so, a little ways. So that's 1 foot 4 inches, which is 16 inches, and this I'm going to left click when I'm at the place I want to be. But also, I want to let the builders know that this footing width is typical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that text and pull up the info box and go hit this other tab to the right that says Units and Tolerance, and left click that. And you can see down here where it says prefix or suffix. I want a suffix because I want to let everybody know that this is a typical footing width. So I'm going to click in that suffix box. I'm going to put a space there by hitting the space bar, and now I'm going to type in caps TYP, which stands for typical. And so now you can see how it automatically changed the dimension, moved it outside the box, or outside the dimension because it was too wide to fit in there, and put 1 foot forward. Now I can hit escape, and we now have our foundation plan. That was really pretty straightforward. There is, however, one additional thing that we should do. Often in slab on grade construction, we need to put control joints, and because it allows the slab to expand and contract along, because it's going to crack, and it'll expand and contract along our control joint lines. So since we're 22 by 24, we can go up to 12 feet usually without a problem and do control joints. So the easiest way to do that is I need to go back into the foundation layer, which I'm just going to go to Layers and click on 15 a couple times, and it makes that the current active layer. And click OK. So now I'm going to hit V for vector, and I'm going to hit Control K just so I end up in the middle of this line here. Control K. I'm going to hit H to toggle off our orthogonal mode. You can see it up here, and I go straight on up and snap to the top by hitting K and hit Enter. So I have a line that's centered along this axis, and now I need the same thing on the along the x-axis. So I'm going to hit Control K, or first vector, and hit Control K. And now I'm going to hit H to toggle orthogonal mode on, and come over to this outside line and hit K. And then I can hit my scroll button, and it activates it. So now these are my control joint lines. What I want to do is I want to make them a dashed line that's actually a substantially smaller dash. It'll be narrow. It's actually a 0 line width, just so they don't stand out too much. But we'll note them later, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this first line, and I'm going to go over here to where the line type that says solid right now, and I'm going to go down to hidden. And right now, the line scale for hidden is at 2, and I'm going to make that 1 and hit Enter. And so that you can see it's a small dashed line that differentiates it from the inside of the footing line, so we can tell which is which. And now I'm going to hit Escape, or actually I'll just click on this other line and use the same as command in info box and click on that dashed line, and it makes them the same line. Pull my info box out of the way, and hit Escape, so it's no longer selected. And so we've just finished the foundation plan. That's lesson 11A for Dcad 11A.